Hello again, everybody, and welcome back to the Super Journeys podcast, Blank Space Blues. A little decompress after episode 7. Yeah, that sexy music outro, so swanky, so swanky. It's nice to see Bugaki in that kind of environment. But yeah, initial thoughts, Amy. How do you like? How do you like that after that little aftermath episode?
There were so many deep moments. It was like watching in a Lifetime series. That whole
truly.
little thing between Bugaki and Mikey just getting all deep and emotional for what?
Yeah, the bonded brothers,
like the warm up
over here.
Yeah,
yeah. For you guys, like between when the explosion happened, and surprised you all last episode, and then this episode having time to process it, how did you guys all feel, and what did you guys think would happen after the explosion? Was there panic on what you guys had to do?
Well, I remember the start of that episode for me, because we had discussed a lot, and we were just also Mikey's down.
Yeah, we didn't realize till off camera that Mikey actually went down, and then we didn't actually roll for it. So we had to do that at the beginning, and it could have
in the moment.
Could have gone either way.
I feel like that really that definitely had a couple things in my head change, because I was like, oh, we kind of some scary stuff happened, and then I was like, Mike, you're down and out, and I was like, oh damn.
You're basically MIA for the first third of the episode. No, it's the first 15 minutes.
But I love it because it's happened to me even in the there's been a moment where Belmont was unconscious in the
in Rainbow Valley.
I got to kind of I just got to be kind of in the background while shit was happening.
Yeah, Sappy being hey, I don't want to roleplay for a little bit. Let me take a breather.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was fully in that moment with that explosion. I was fully ready to kill a player at that point, which could have been pretty crazy. I had some ideas for what would happen after.
It might have happened, to be honest.
Yeah, but I feel like you guys were also strong enough to survive that kind of thing.
To survive some of it.
But
so how do you die? How do you die in the...
If you roll a 1, I believe.
I rolled a 4
with a down and out, or if you get damaged again, which is also possible. But yeah, so
it was definitely high stress, but in a way that it felt like it felt like I was forced to retreat in a good way. I felt like we had this huge crazy race build up. The explosion happened, and then I was like, okay, we have this episode to kind of figure out how to now hide.
Yeah, it felt
we got to do all the
appropriate
stuff.
Yeah, it felt appropriate, to build up things up to a point that finally you guys could take a step back and also pull out a bit, even the scale of the situation and the world that you guys live in. Oh shit, we fucked up a little bit ago, and we're facing the consequences for that. And really bringing you guys back down from that brief high of just being oh no, this galaxy is not all rainbows and candy.
I would say that previous to this episode, we were living on borrowed time, and we were on in a fantasy, because it's two very important people who are being hunted. They just didn't know where we were. And then it finally caught up to us, and then now after this episode, it's we're in the real... This is the real situation that we're in now.
Yeah. I feel like this also kind of marks the beginning of another arc. If this was an anime.
Yeah. No, definitely, the timing feels like it spaces out well, because you need to kind of be beaten down a little bit, and then you kind of need to rebuild, meet some fun characters, get some RPG going.
Yeah. So when you guys were leaving that planet, what other options were you guys considering, other than going to another planet? Did you guys consider staying? I know D-Friend tried to steal Gojin's silver.
I really wanted to do that. Nobody wanted.
A couple options.
Not a good idea.
Because I feel like it was so much danger, in general, that I didn't want to do anything that would get us too much attention.
Yeah.
But also, I was unconscious for a lot of the exiting.
Yeah, true.
Of
Yeah, you didn't even
So
know
I was like,
Osmanthus Jones was a cop.
I know.
So you know-
much stuff.
You know what's a hilarious behind the scenes thing? So when I was like writing some like ideas for like this section of the campaign, originally Funamaki Slim was supposed to be the undercover cop, but
wow.
I think
that's
you guys
hilarious.
like ended up liking him so much, and he became such like a cool character and like just like a funny dude. And I was like, man, Funamaki Slim's not a
right.
cop. Like ACAB, like fuck cops. Like
Yeah.
Funamaki Slim's actually a legitimately cool guy. Let's just make this flower
There we
dude
go.
a cop.
Oh man, that would be
That's funny.
funny if he
That's
was
a
a
good
cop
choice.
too, though.
It was-
You can
It'd
still
be
slip
jokes
that
because
in.
it's like we didn't.
You
have
still,
a
like,
lot of-
training
I
Slip
mean,
that
you
shit
still
in.
could be a cop. Anyone could be a cop. But
He's like a beat cop.
I guess that's
He's-
true. Wow.
He's been chasing the Skull Founders for years.
yeah, there was the idea of like the cop that's been like dealing with shit on Zerf and like the Ghostface Nebula for a while and knows all about the Skull Pounders. That was gonna be Funamaki Slim. I think also part of me was like speaking in Funamaki Slim's voice mod. It doesn't do well with like a lot of info like translating and
Yeah.
exposition because it's like a weird so
Yeah.
getting like a lot of
That
like
makes
important knowledge is difficult with that, like, so I think that was also part of it, but mostly because Funamaki Slim's cool and I didn't want him to be a cop. But yeah, speaking of like cool characters and like a new arc and stuff, shout out to D-Fran for the art on Kane and Umbra. Two very cool looking characters. Kane was obviously, the design was obviously based on can anyone tell from One Punch Man? King, his face kind of has that,
Yeah.
like he's got the
Yeah.
same scar, like he's
Yeah.
got that same demeanor. And then Umbra was like a mix between Rogue from X-Men Evolution with like that gothy outfit that she has, like the coolest Rogue outfit, and then like Misty Knight, kind of like the badass vibe
From
of
Luke
Misty Knight.
Cage?
Yeah, from Luke
Oh,
Cage.
yeah.
Yeah. That was like her vibe.
Oh.
Who ended up kind of being a love interest for Bugaki.
Bugaki's
This is a
just
funny
shooting
part.
his shot.
Yeah.
Shoot a shot wherever you can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny because
It is a funny
Bugaki was
part
just
'cause, like, I
naturally
feel like,
shy.
yeah.
I don't know.
I like
don't know
how
what
you
happened.
played that though, because like I feel like we hadn't, because like in the first campaign, I feel like there was like so much conversation of like we had like in character wives, like we were trying to like everyone to kind of live the life, but in this it kind of
Not him cheating
Kinda
in
like-
character wives. What did you say?
We were
Wives
like-
or wives?
Oh, in the
wives.
previous season, yeah.
in
But we didn't really,
previous
we've
season,
never
we
really
had, like,
explored like player NPC
our love
romance,
interest.
like
It's usually
live,
like a
yeah.
dark,
Yeah.
a dark
Yeah.
plot line. So like seeing
Yeah.
a nice little like moment where like Bugaki can't handle like
A little
just
crush.
the innate interest of someone else, like it just makes it so much cuter.
Yeah.
Because I
And,
remember,
like,
I think when you first brought the character, I was like, oh, like this is kind of like an interesting character, and I was like, let me just see how everyone else interacts with it. And then the way that Alex came out with Bugaki, I was like, okay, let me just
yeah, it
let's
wasn't
just
even
see how
like
this
planned
plays
or
out.
anything. Like I didn't even plan to have like obviously like I wanted to make a really cute, like charming character. I mean, Umbra's hot and
It's
stuff.
just the
But then,
timing
like, I
is
think there was
great.
just like one moment where she's like sure to Bugaki and winks at him, and then D-Fran took that and brought it to wherever we ended up.
It's so
Oh
good,
yeah,
though.
that's
It
cute.
was like
so
5
good.
minutes later too. He was like, "Oh, by the way, when she winked at Bugaki, he turns red," and I was like, "Oh, okay, so we're gonna go there with this." So,
It's cute, though.
Just the
yeah,
idea of
very
Bugaki
cute.
being green and then he still blushes like beet red,
It's
like
true.
lobster red.
Bugaki got that riz. Yeah, I think this is also the first time you guys like have like a bit of downtime to do like a shopping episode, kind of. Like
Yeah.
I've said, like Augie's bought
Yeah.
some stuff for you guys, and like you've been like I guess really broke every other episode. But you guys finally had some time to visit Gork and Gex, and you bought a whole bunch of stuff, which is fun. Yeah, I basically
Gordon
looked
Gekko
at
was
the.
pretty- a fun introduction.
I like them as characters. Yeah, and I basically I looked at like the list of like items you can get in Lancer, and because there's no monetary system, I just like make up what sounded like right prices for things like that. But yeah, it's funny that how quickly the prize money went. Like you guys had like 10K plus after the race, and
it was kind of perfect though.
Yeah,
I
know you did that on purpose, Chris, because you want us to be broke all the time.
Well, no, it's also just like it just really shows how like dire things in this galaxy, and like one accident or like one fucked up thing like puts you down so much, right? Like that's very reminiscent of real life too.
Right? The method of like all these things we've done, like even though we've like got this mech, we like stole this mech, like we had like it feels like we were kind of going places and things were happening to us, but it always had like a negative impact, I feel like, along the way, and like things were slowly building up. But it's just like it feels consistent. It feels like, oh, they win a bunch of money, but it's like, do they really get to spend it though? You know,
you did actually get. You actually spent quite a bit of it. It's just like, unfortunately,
but it still feels like it kind of sucks the blood away from the victory still.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and and it just kind of shows how like hard it is to get by in this galaxy. Because like, think about people who didn't win the prize money who ended up in that explosion too. Like it's
all the people who died, like the fucking the rat.
Yeah, exactly. Who like, you know, they didn't win the race and they're also tiny, so like they probably got super fucked up by that. But yeah, it just kind of like builds out the scope of what you guys are dealing with a little more. Because like, even though you guys came in to a whole lot of money, I mean, you guys did get to spend it on a good amount of stuff and rebuild your mechs basically from scratch. So, you know, still going with that like Cowboy Bebop, like scraping by vibes. I mean, you still have like a decent amount of money by the end of this, I think, with the 4K payout from the last mission. But yeah, that obviously was a little planned out, that you guys would have things that you'd have to pay for. But you guys didn't have to pay for Gojin Silver Surgery. It's just like
a character thing. Sentimental attachment to that, though. We had to pay. If we didn't,
you didn't have to. But that's a thing for your characters, right? That's a decision that your characters have to make. And like, you know,
we're true altruistic.
You're also lucky that Fork and Blaze Runner, you know, he was supposed to be an enemy at the beginning of this whole thing, right? And you befriended him. Like he forked up half of it for you too. So like, that wouldn't have happened if you didn't befriend him earlier. So like the way that it all worked out is all like based on your character's decisions.
Yeah, we do befriend a lot of people somehow.
We kind of befriended him with like confrontation as well, which is kind of funny because we were like, we kind of took one of their gang members, basically had an internal dispute, and then he ended up on the right side of that. And he's like, hey, you know what? I respect you guys.
Yeah.
Could have gone either way.
Yeah. Fully a villain.
I'm surprised he still respects us after.
What do you mean? You guys did a good race. I think you guys were like,
we hit his,
we're the first people to beat him. Like,
yeah. I realized his character slate should say former Neon Stretch champion. I should change that.
I guess we are the current.
You guys are current. You two are the current champions.
That's right. You two are.
It's probably got like an asterisk.
We got a race
again like next year. Winners. The dynamic duo asterisks.
But yeah, also the encounter with the ship and the pirates. You know, sometimes as a GM, you make a whole ass encounter. You spend a whole lot of time building a whole map. Even like that ship I drew in fucking Photoshop. Like I don't draw shit usually for this campaign, and sometimes it just doesn't happen. So maybe that's something we can use another time. But yeah, sometimes you just make a whole ass thing, and your characters are like, "No, I'm gonna roll a nat 20 to persuade them out of it."
That was perfect because like I feel like. I can't speak for all of us, but I feel like when that combat was approaching, I was like, "Oh, I hope we can get out of this real easy." And then, that whole thing happened, and I was like, perfect.
Yeah. And honestly, it was nice to have a chill, non-combat episode after dealing with all the shit you dealt with on Zerf. So in a way, like the dice were like, give these guys a break, right? So in that way, it's good.
And I mean, yeah, and it's not like it doesn't come for us in different ways. I just feel like it was timed out well. We had this huge thing happen, and then we get this little moment to breathe. Things kind of go our direction a little bit, and then we're back in space. We'll see what happens. But like it's like
you guys are back in space. You guys are in the driver's seat again.
It was funny how it happened too. It was just like,
yeah. I definitely didn't expect it to happen because when I did, I was like, "Oh, fuck yes!"
Are you sure you guys want to do that?
yeah. Look at you just blowing up asteroids. Yeah, when you guys got to the moon, the Sam Jenkins character, I think me and D found when we were lore building. Fun fact, that's actually, if you watched Rainbow Valley, that's actually Gertie Jenkins' distant ancestor.
Oh,
if you guys remember, Gertie Jenkins.
Wow.
We should have fought him.
Yeah.
The guy on the moon?
The guy on the moon, yeah, the lizard on the moon who gives you guys the drugs.
That's so funny. Gertie Jenkins was like,
I didn't even know.
Such a receiver of all the RP that I could think of in my head.
D-Friend doesn't remember half the NPCs he makes with me because they're so long ago.
I didn't even realize that was Jenkins.
That's such a good callback.
Yeah, Sam Jenkins. And it's like related to the WAP. Yeah, so regarding the WAP, like this, if it wasn't clear, like, and me and D-Friend had to talk about this because I wanted to make sure the lore aligned with season 1. This is like the origins of like the WAP process of like crushing magic crystals into drugs. This isn't exactly the same white arcana powder that you're dealing with, that we're dealing with in Rainbow Valley. Like that's a distant thing from now. But the process of like crushing up magical stones and stuff and turning them into drugs did kind of originate around this this time in this area. Is what we discussed.
That's cool.
So what you guys are peddling now is different than what what we're dealing with in Rainbow Valley. And if you want to learn more about WAP, you should definitely watch season 1 because it's all about the WAP. It's all about the WAP.
It's a complete spiral scenario for me with WAP.
Any favorite moments from the episode that you guys want to shout out?
Oh, I already brought it up. It was the emotional bond between the two.
On it, outside of a ship in their mechs too, via the comms, so you're not even like talking to each other.
It's one of those scenarios you see like in animes when like it's like obviously that's what it is, but then they like project like their image large in the sky in this most spiritual, you know what I mean?
Yeah. But then on the outside, it's just like two mechs just staring at each other. Yeah.
And like get more emotional.
And when I was editing it and I was realizing this, I was like, wait, they're talking in their mechs. Like I had to like change like the effect on your voices so it looked like it sounded like calm stuff. But then when Mikey is like, look at me, I had to like put in an effect where it was like whoosh, like the robot moving effect, because I was like, how would that make sense? There's a tiny little detail, a tiny little sound effect that I had to throw in there because I realized you guys are in your mechs talking.
My favorite part was when Mikey like gave Bugaki a pep talk, and he was, I forget what he did, but it was like that scene where he was just like giving me an emotional pep talk.
Yeah, that's literally what I was talking
about. Which happens a lot. Yeah, that's the one we were talking. It was the one outside the ship. Yeah.
I feel like there's definitely a lot of moments where I like to try to pull Bugaki. I feel like there's just so many fun times, because like I guess those are my favorite moments to happen as well, because like I never know what we're gonna do, because it's like the most improv we do on a daily basis is like just us skidding. But like I never know if it's gonna be like if we're gonna just feed into each other or if we're gonna be combative. And I feel like these early confrontations are fun because, like, if I compare them to what we get into later, like, I'm not going to talk about that.
Yeah,
but it's
funny.
just so much. It feels like we get a good amount of practice.
But it is cool that these interactions start early and they happen pretty frequently. On the flip side of that, like a more fun interaction like that is when like Whiskers and Mikey are like encouraging Bugaki and giving him tips and pointers when he's talking to Umbra, but like over the comms, so they're just like, oh, what do I do? So good.
Oh man, there was a lot of great moments in this episode.
A lot of great moments. Yeah, this is a nice feel good episode after a very bleak opening.
Yeah. Crazy start.
And it's like you were saying before, it's like this is the start of like when everything starts getting serious.
Yes.
And like every episode after this just gets like more and more.
It really does ramp up. Yeah, it's almost like everything before this was like, all right, you guys had your fun. You guys went on a little race. You guys made a little bit of money. Now you guys are dealing with some real shit. That definitely ramped up. But I feel like, I wonder, did you plan that out pacing wise, or did you kind of feel like right after we got off Earth, were you thinking we were gonna hit it as heavy as we do? Actually, you know what? Yeah, that's maybe another good point. Yeah, when I did have like when I was just like thinking of ideas for the campaign, I did have an idea to like go to Earth and like have like an escort mission on the moon. And like that was just kind of an idea that I had, and like it was just kind of could have gone like anywhere, but it was hard to think like later as things escalate where I could fit that in, like maybe making a delivery or something. But then like this felt like a perfect spot to put it, because like you guys are like really escaping that whole side of the galaxy because of everything that happened, and like Earth is the complete opposite side and like the furthest you could really go. So I was like, oh, maybe they like take a bit of a breather and like get back on their feet and do a little Earth thing. And then just the way the pacing worked out, it actually worked out really nicely. And I was just like, yeah, this is nice. This is nice to do this little episode.
You like to have the episodes like Cowboy Bebop, where like every episode is like self-contained. Like you don't want it to go past.
I like to have them self-contained, and so which is why sometimes they can run a bit long because I want to complete a thing. Except like the racing, which had to be a two-parter. Because I like it to be episodic. If anyone tunes in like just I don't know late, which is why would you do that? They could still experience like a full episode. But yeah, I will say as things ramp up and as more things happen, it will be harder to follow along if you haven't seen earlier episodes, because a lot happens in the universe. But I like it to be episodic like that, because there is an overarching story, obviously. But I like each episode to have its own little theme and its own little vibe, similar to Cowboy Bebop.
To your point about how like every episode shit just gets crazier. We just recorded our episode with Amy last week, and it's like where we're at that point is like crazy compared to this.
Yeah,
like it has nothing. Nothing has even started yet.
Yeah. This is like peanuts compared to what is going on down there.
We just had a nice race.
It feels like a completely different show.
Yeah,
like episode 7. I'm like, well, episode 7, Earth episode.
You guys had some soup. Okay. Oh, it's so nice. You guys went shopping. You guys met a cute girl. Like, what a wonderful episode.
It's a slice of life, like a beach day episode.
Yeah, it truly is like a beach episode. Yeah.
The music was great too.
This is the beach episode in another, though, like in terms of lead up.
Yeah. The music was fun to do for this one too. Like the little like islandy vibe for when you guys are at the shop. The music when you guys were going through space was like super cool and chill. I actually really like the opening track when you guys are like in the bar, like post explosion. It's like kind of like depressing, and just not depressing. It's just like it sets the tone. Really, it's emotional. Yeah, it's a little emotional. Yeah.
Because I feel like I was already playing something in the back of my head while we were listing off all the people who were messed up.
Shit.
I was just like, in my head, I'm like, damn. You know?
Yeah, that's nice. Cool. So next week we will. I don't know. Does anyone have any questions? Let us know in the chat. But yeah, next week we will be doing another live stream. The second episode of Rage Against the Rift, which I had to start thinking about. I have no idea what I'm going to do for that, and I'm leaving for PAX East on Wednesday, so I have a day to figure this out.
Shit. Oh my god.
Just do that crazy idea I DM'd you.
Oh yeah,
my
maybe.
gosh.
Maybe I'll just do this ship thing, this ship encounter that we didn't do.
Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about that, but
That's
maybe
actually
not so
perfect.
soon. You know what? Maybe I should do it so soon because
Yeah, why
the map
not?
is fresh on your mind.
Yeah, we could just we could just do a mission on Earth. Who cares?
There you go.
Yes, yeah, we could do something like that. Yeah, I'll figure it out. I mean, they're one shots anyway, so it doesn't super matter. But yeah. Yeah, because like you guys haven't really faced those like flying mechs yet, so I want to do that at some point. But yeah, so tune in next week. We'll have a live stream, and then 2 weeks from now we will be back with episode 8, which is a good one. If you guys remember what happens, as you guys try to sell off those drugs, it's a great episode.
I feel like in my head I remember what happened.
It's a great episode.
I just remember
episode 8.
Yellow lumpy soup or something, yellow lumpy sauce or something.
I feel like
the lumpy sausage. Yeah. No, not
sauce.
even. Yeah, that, but also the.
I'm thinking of
the flashbacks. Next episode is the one with the flashbacks.
Yeah, flashback.
Next episode is a crazy episode. Next episode is crazy. If you care about backstory and lore, next episode is rich on it.
Oh, yeah.
That's good.
Yes, we'll see you next Monday. If you're going to PAX, let me know. I'll see you at PAX. Otherwise, it's been great chilling. Thank you all for tuning in. And hey, Super 50 for 50% off at Missy Mountain Gaming. Hey! We'll have a cool video for you guys soon. All right, over and out. This is what we're doing now. Over and out.
We're doing the O's.
Space.
Over and out. Space with dudes on journey.
303.
Yes.
Welcome to
Space.
space.